Cool.
We're just going to try to extend it.
Sounds good.
Yai diddy di diddy di di, yai diddy di diddy di di, yai diddy di diddy di di, yai da 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 da, yai diddy di diddy di di, yai diddy di diddy da da da, yai diddy di diddy di di, yai da 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 da. Yai diddy di 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 di, yai 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 di 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 di, yai di 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 di. Yai diddy di diddy di da da, yai diddy di diddy di da, yai da 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 da, yai diddy di diddy di da, yai diddy di diddy da da, yai diddy di diddy di da, yai da 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 da, yai da 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 da, yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 da, yai da 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 da, yai da 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 da, yai 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 diddy di diddy di da, yai diddy di diddy di da, yai diddy di diddy di da. Erev Tov, good evening, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
We rejoice that we're able to be in 3 dimensions tonight for Kabbalat Shabbat, joining together with each other, joining together with our song leaders, and of course, joining together with all of you participating online. If you are online, you can find a copy of Mishkan Tefillah on our website under the ritual section, the worship section, and on our YouTube channel. If you are following along here in the sanctuary, well, there's a book right in front of you. And we're going to turn in that book to page 344. Before we continue with our singing, a reminder. Masks can be off as long as you have shown proof either in advance of vaccination or at the door. If you're not all of us on the beam are fully marinated yet, so we're keeping our masks on. That's what's going on with that. But as long as you showed proof, you can do that. Even so, we're going to keep our singing a little on the quiet side just to make sure that we're not breathing on each other. But nevertheless, we want to sing together. We want to be together. We want to celebrate Shabbat together. So on page 344, it's a new day. Shiru Ladonai, Shir Chadash. Let's sing unto God a new song. Shiru Ladonai, Kol Haaretz, Shiru Ladonai, Shir Chadash, Shiru Ladonai, Kol Haaretz, Shiru Ladonai, Shir Chadash. Sing unto God, all the earth, a new song. I will sing unto God a new song. Sing unto God, and we'll all sing along. All the earth, a new song unto God. Shiru Ladonai, Kol Haaretz, Shiru Ladonai, Shir Chadash. We're going to turn all the way back to the front of the book to page 2 for the blessing of our Shabbat lights. And if you're at home and you haven't had a chance to light your Shabbat lights yet, now is the time to do it so you can join with us. And we're going to join with our cantor as she blesses our candles. Again, you'll find that blessing on page 2.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner להדליק נר של שבת.
Let's turn to page 20 as we welcome Shabbat like the bride and queen that she is, as we join in singing Lecha Dodi, verses 1, 5, and 9, rising as we're able to do so, whether we're at home or here in the sanctuary, on the very last verse, to greet the Sabbath bride. Page 20, let's join together.
Yalla la 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 lecha dodi, yalla la 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 likot kala, yalla la 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 pnei Shabbat, pnei Shabbat nekabel. Yalla la 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 lecha dodi, yalla la 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 likot kala, yalla la 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 pnei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'diborecha Hishmianu el hamiuchad Adonai echad u'shemo echad l'shemu tiferet v'lidhilah. Yalla la 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 lecha dodi, yalla la 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 likot kala, yalla la 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 pnei Shabbat nekabela. Hitoreri ki va'orech kumi ori uri shir daberi kevod Adonai alayich nigla. Yalla la la lecha dodi, yalla la 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 likot kala, yalla la 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 pnei Shabbat nekabela.
Please rise in body or in spirit and face the door.
Boi v'shalom Ateret bala Gam b'simcha u'tola Toch emunei Am segula Bo'ir chala, yalla la Ya la 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 Echad Elohim. Ya la 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 Echad Kabbalat. Ya la 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 Pnei Shabbat. Pnei Shabbat Nekabela. Ya la 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 Echad Elohim. Ya la 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 Echad Kabbalat. Ya la 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 Pnei Shabbat. Pnei Shabbat Nekabela.
We're going to remain standing as we turn to the Baruch Hu, but before we do, we welcome Shabbat, but at L'chad Odi, we also welcome those who are grieving, those who are in mourning. So we extend our condolences to Bernice Trachtman, to Susan and Andrew Trachtman on Jay's passing. I am so sorry for your loss. May you find comfort in being with us tonight, surrounded by your community and surrounded in love this evening. On page 28, you'll find the Baruch Hu, and we join together as we call each other to worship.
Ya la 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 la, 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 ya la 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 la. Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared?
Baruch Hu Adonai HaMevorach.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam va'ed, Le'olam va'ed. Ya la 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 la, 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 ya la la la, ya la 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 la, ya la la la.
You may be seated. We praise the one who brings on the evening, who makes the seasons glide, who gives us the opportunity for change, the opportunity for growth, the opportunity for light, the opportunity to love, to share our love for each other, our love for God's world, our love for God's Torah. And so we turn to page 32, as we join in singing Ahavat Olam.
Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha Avta, Torah u'mitzvot, Chokim u'mishpatim, Otanu limadeta. Ahavat Olam, Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha Avta, Torah u'mitzvot, Chokim u'mishpatim, Otanu limadeta. Day and night. day and night. Show us the way, teaching us to number our days. When we rise and when we lie down, Ahavat Olam, Ahavat Olam, Ahavat Olam. Beit Yisrael, Amcha Avta, Torah u'mitzvot, Chukim u'mishpatim, Osanu limad etah.
We rise, we breathe in deep, we close our eyes and listen for the still small voice within us as we join in the Shema.
Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai, Adonai Echad. Yadadai, 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 Baruch Shem Kevod, Shem Kevod Malchuto, Le'olam, Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Shem Kevod, Shem Kevod Malchuto, Le'olam, Le'olam Va'ed. Yadadai, 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 Yadadai. You shall love with all of your heart, your soul, and with all of your might. You shall teach your children to hope, to love and to know what is right. Yadadai, 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 yadadai,
We can be seated. And what is my lifespan? I'm like a man gone out of Egypt. The Red Sea parts, I cross on dry land, 2 walls of water on my right and on my left, Pharaoh's army and his horsemen behind me. Before me the desert, perhaps the promised land too. That is my lifespan. Page 42, as we join in that song at the sea, page 40, as we join in that song at the sea, as we join together in singing, Mi Chamocha. Again, page 40.
O mi chamocha, Ba'elim Adonai. מי כמוך נהדר בקודש, נורא תהילות הוסיף אליי, נורא תהילות הוסיף אליי. Won't you help to sing these songs of freedom? 'Cause all I ever had, redemption songs, these songs of freedom. Oh, mi chamocha Bailim Adonai, oh mi kamocha nedar bakodesh, oh nora tehilo, oh seifele, oh nora tehilo, oh, Sefer, won't you help to sing these songs of freedom? 'Cause all I've ever had, redemption songs, these songs of freedom. Redemption song.
We turn to page 42. We give thanks for the night and its rest, the promise of peace that it brings.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Shalom, V'hamideinu Shomreinu L'chaim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Shalom, Hamideinu Shomreinu L'chaim. Spread the shelter of your peace over us. Guide us with wisdom, compassion, and trust. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Shalom, V'hamideinu Shomreinu L'chaim. Save us for the sake of your name. Shield us from hatred, sorrow, and pain. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Shalom, V'hamideinu Shomreinu L'chaim. L'chaim.
Page 44 for Vishama.
V'shamaru b'nei Yisrael, V'shamaru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat לדור אותם בריץ עולם ושמרו ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם ושמרו בני ישראל ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדור אותם ברית עולם ושמרו
כי ששת ימים עשה
אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ ושמרו בני ישראל ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדור אותם ברית עולם ושמרו וביום השביעי וביום השביעי שבת שבת ויהי נחת ושמרו בני ישראל ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדור אותם ברית עולם ושמרו.
Physically, spiritually, we rise for the Amidah. The English is on page 45, Adonai Sfatai on 46, and then on the even-numbered pages after that.
A thought has blown the marketplace away. There is a song on the wind and joy in the trees. Shabbat has arrived in the world, scattering a song in the silence of the night, and eternity utters a day. And eternity utters a day. Ya la la, ya la la, ya la 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 la, ya la la, ya la 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 la, ya la la, ya la la, ya la 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 la, ya la la. Adonai Sfatai Tiftach Ufi Yagi Tehilatecha Adonai Sfatai Tivta Ufi Yaki Tehilatecha
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Ve'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei hakol, v'zacher chasei avot v'imahot, u'mevi geula livnei b'neihem, למען שמו באהבה, מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן. ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע. מוריד אתה, מחכה חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים. סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בגבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה לחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללו אותך סלע. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש.
We can be seated. On page 253, we take time in our service to think of those who are in need of healing, the healing of body, the healing of spirit. We think of those who are still suffering from this pandemic. We think of those who are suffering from the pandemic of injustice and hatred. We think of those 3 police officers in Wilmington who are recovering as we speak from yesterday's horrible events. We think in our community of Meritartek. And I would ask, if you have a name of someone you are thinking of who's in need of healing, if you are online, to post that name on YouTube, on Facebook. If you are here in the sanctuary, to share that name out loud as my eyes meet yours.
Amy Michelle.
For all those we mention out loud, for all those we mention in our hearts, together, we pray for healing.
May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to Mishebera imotenu Mekor habracha Le'avotenu, bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Physically, spiritually, we rise for our Seder Kriyat HaTorah, our service for the reading of Torah.
Al Shosha Devarim, Al Shosha Devarim Ha'olam Oleh, Al Shosha Devarim Ha'olam Oleh, Al HaTorah Ve'al HaAvodah Ve'al Gemilut Chasadim, Al HaTorah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al gemilut chasadim, Al Shosha Devarim ha'olam ameh, Al Shosha Devarim ha'olam ameh, Al Shosha Devarim.
Can set aside our Siddurim for a moment as we prepare to hear Torah from Cantor Flynn. Cantor is going to be chanting from Numbers chapter 15, beginning with verse 37, Parashat Shalach Lacha. I know most of you don't have books in the pews. We ran out of space. You'll listen, it'll be okay. And many of you know these verses already, because if you grew up in a traditional setting, Orthodox, conservative, or even Reconstructionist, or actually, they're in your prayer books. Can I borrow that for 1 second?
38. Nope.
If you look, it's going to be in the morning service. If you look on page, in your prayer books, page 118. Page 118. These are the verses that command us to wear these things. Tzitzit. The wearing of tzitzit. Tomorrow in Torah study at 9:30 on Zoom, the link is online on the website, we are going to talk in more detail about this mitzvah. Why do we wear tzitzit? What's this tzitzit all about? As mitzvot go, this one's a little, right? It's a little harder to explain in a way unlike love your neighbor as yourself. But we are commanded to wear tzitzit to remind us of the mitzvot. That when we put tzitzit on, we are reminded of our sacred obligations. And that's what Cantor is going to be chanting this evening. So if you've got Mishkan Tefillah in front of you, it's page 118 is what I said? Mm-hmm. It's on there because it's in the Ve'ahavta. It's just we don't normally do those verses. And if you're online, Numbers 15, beginning with verse 37. For our Aliyah, who here has a June birthday? June birthday, a June birthday. Steve, your eyebrows went up. I don't know if that means you are affirming that you have a June birthday and you're hoping I wouldn't notice. Or no, I'm just embarrassing you. That's what's happening now. Okay, I apologize. Yeah. Oh, maybe somebody in the Steinberg household has a June birthday. I'm not asking which birthday. just whether you have a birthday. And if you have a birthday at home, a June birthday at home, we celebrate you as well. If you have a June birthday, I invite you to rise in your place so you get to join in the Torah blessing. Oh, we got one more. Oh, you were hiding. You were letting me figure everybody else out. We're going to join together in the Torah blessing. 240 something or 250, somewhere in there. But we know the Torah blessings. It's the Torah blessings. We all know them. So we got one more. That's good. It's important to celebrate one's birthday. So June birthdays, join with me, and then we'll hear from our cantor. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Baruch hu et Adonai hamavorach.
Baruch Adonai hambarach leolam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai hambarach leolam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'torah.
Amen. Amen. Vayomer Adonai el Moshe lemor. Daber el bnei Yisrael v'amata lehem ve'asu lahem tzitzit al gnfei bigdechem lidorotam v'nanu al tzitzit haknaf petil techelet v'chaya lachem tzitzit uritem oto uzchartem et kol mitzvot Adonai v'asitem otam v'lo taturu acharei levavchem v'acharei nechem asher otam zonim achareihem leman tizkeru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'yitem gedoshim le'elohechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem meretz Mitzrayim lihiot lachem le'Elohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem.
Yasher koach. Nicely done. Let's. If you're birthday folks, will join in the blessing after. Yeah, you got one more. It's okay. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah temet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
And as you take your seats, may you be renewed by your birthday. May you, as we transition from spring to summer, feel that newness, that warmth, that joy that comes in the month of June. And may you be able to express that and spread that to all those you know and love. We're going to turn to our song leaders and to our cantor, and we're going to join together in singing Shehechianu. Here, can I borrow that from you? There you go.
Baruch atah
Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechianu v'kiyamanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. With that, physically, spiritually, we rise for Hagvah, Galilah, the lifting up, the dressing, and the putting away of our Sefer Torah. Hey, let me. I like it. Makes me happy.
Bezot HaTorah asher sam Moshe livnei bnei Yisrael. Al pi Adonai biyad Moshe.
It is a tree of life to them that hold fast to it, and all of its supporters are happy. It is a tree of life to them that hold fast to it, and all of its supporters are happy. Shalom, shalom, it is a tree. Shalom, 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 shalom. It's Chaim Hilem Machazikim Avetzomecha Meusha. It's Chaim Hilem Machazikim Avetzomecha Meusha. Shalom, 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 shalom.
Well, it wouldn't be Kabbalat Shabbat without a story. And like so many stories from the Hasidic tradition, this one involves children, or rather a child, a boy who lived with his parents in a village near a forest. And if you know anything about forests, as beautiful as they are today, they're beautiful, we can wander through them. Many times there are paths there, there are little colored marks along the way to tell us where to go. But back then, forests were dangerous. And this boy, who was a normal boy in every way, he went to school like all the other boys. He did all the things that boys are wont to do. But he liked to go into the forest, and he would disappear into the forest every day for a couple of hours. And he always came home before dark, but every day he would go and he would disappear into the forest. And he wasn't a misbehaving child. He wasn't a problematic child, but he kept doing this day after day, and after a while his father started getting a little alarmed. What if he falls down? What if he gets hurt? What if something happens to him? So one day he decided to follow his son. He follows him into the forest, and they walked in about a half hour's walk in to a clearing. There, he watched as his son just sat down and sat there quietly for about an hour by himself. Didn't move. And then after about an hour was done, he would get up. He got up, and he walked home about a half hour's walk. His father kind of raced ahead so he could meet him at the entrance of the forest and stopped him and said, "So I have to tell you, my son, I followed you today and I watched you go into the forest and sit down and just sit there for an hour. What are you doing?" "Oh," said his son, "I go to talk to God. That's where I go every day to talk to God." And his father smiled and said, "Well, that's beautiful. But you know you can talk to God anywhere. At home, at the synagogue, on the street, you can talk to God anywhere. God is the same no matter where you go." And his son looked at his father and said, "God is the same, but I'm not. God is the same no matter where we are. Whether we have been at home, kept away from each other. God is the same at our favorite places, at the beach and at the woods. God is the same at camp, at the homes of those we love. God is the same here, but we're not the same. We've prayed to God at home. We've prayed to God in our parking lot. We've prayed to God watching the service on the TV and on our iPads. Some of us are doing that even now. And it is wonderful. But we're different when we're together. We're different when we can be with each other. So we rejoice in our being together again. We rejoice in the holiness that comes from our being in shared space, whether it's this night or in nights to come. Knowing that by being together, we are different. We are transformed. May it be so, as we say, Amen. Let's turn back to our prayer books, to page 282. Page 282, we're going to rise as we're able to do so for Aleinu L'Shabbat.
Aleinu l'shabach l'Adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו
We may be seated. And we'll turn to page 294. Page 294. However brief may be our days on earth, O God, you endow them with abiding worth. Remembering those we have lost, I invite you, if you have lost a loved one in the last 30 days, the period of Shloshim, to rise at this time. And if you have lost a loved one in the last year, I invite you to rise. And if you are observing a yahrzeit, the anniversary of a loved one's passing, I invite you to rise. And if it is your custom to rise to remember those whom only we can remember, the martyrs of our people, those who have died from this pandemic, those who have died from injustice, I invite you to rise as together we join in Mourner's Kaddish. Again, page 294. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, b'alma divrach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uvizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shemei rabbah mevarach le'olam u'lomei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, Viet Hadar, Viet Alev, Viet Halal, Shemei de Kudusha, Barichu, La'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, Tushbachata v'nechamata, Da'amiran bi'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shalama rabba min shamaya, V'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. We think of our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, those who died at this season in years past, and those whom we have drawn into our hearts with our own. We remember H. David Kirsch, Stephen Dorfman, Jay Tannenbaum, Rose Bernhardt, Clifford Bryant, Isidore Dworkin, Pearl S. Fink, Harry Gelb, Abraham Ginsberg, Mary Goldfeder, Shirley Goldstein, Daniel Herman, Gertrude Hershkowitz, S. Gerald Hinden, Celia Casvan, Kalman Kosoy, Rose Lieberman, Anita Markell, Nancy Melnick, Leonora Miller, John M. Roth, Nancy Shore Siner, Mamie Selber, Barnett Shapiro, C. Beatrice Snyder, Sarah Ostro Stahlberg, Harry Statt, Benjamin Stolper, and Harry Topkis. And I would ask if you have a name to add, again, online, on YouTube, on Facebook, please feel free to add that name in the comments below, and in our sanctuary, if you have a name to add, feel free to do so as I scan around the room. Zichronam Livarcha, may their memories be a blessing, as we say. Amen.
Amen.
Please be seated. Again, we extend our profound condolences to Bernice Trachtman, to Andrew and Susan Trachtman, to your whole family on the passing of Jay Tannenbaum. Especially painful knowing that you couldn't get out to California for the funeral. So may God bring you comfort in the days ahead. May you find comfort being surrounded by your congregational family, by your own family, surrounded with love now and in the days ahead. We're going to keep having Kabbalat Shabbat in the summer, but June is usually our last one with our song leaders. We already said Lehitraot to Lauren Osprong last month. She graduates this weekend, so that's why we're not seeing her. And then she's off to Camp Harlem. And Dylan, of course, is off to camp this summer, though we're so grateful for all that you have led this year. And Rachel Greenspan is not off anywhere. But she'll be back next year with our youth choir, God willing, on Friday nights. We're hoping. But this is especially poignant for all of us as Reese Ratliff is. This is your last Shabbat in this role as our song leader, which you started as 6 years ago, something like that. It's going to be very strange not seeing you at camp, standing on a table while leading services, while leading a song session. And it's going to be very strange next year not having you leading us with your music and with your energy and with your co-op, not just in our youth group and in our board, but here in the sanctuary as well. We know you're going on to wonderful, amazing things, college and your music career. We know we will get to see you again, so this is only Lehitraot, this is not goodbye. But we are so grateful for this last 6 years, watching you grow as a musician, watching you grow as a service leader, and watching you be a part and helping us grow in spirit and ruach. Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
No, of course. Torah study is still tomorrow at 9:30, so if you want to know more about this week's Torah portion, show up at Zoom. And we're still going to have the Zoneg in a couple of minutes, so we get to hop on Zoom. That you don't have to do that, because we're all together in the room. But if you want to hop on Zoom to say Shabbat Shalom, we'd love to have you. We're going to conclude our service as Reese and our song leaders, Dylan and Rachel, and our cantor lead us in our closing song. You will not find it in your book. Don't look. It is a song that Reese wrote 3 years ago, something like that, that we have sung together on Kabbalat Shabbatot since he wrote it. And I think it's especially appropriate for tonight. So we're so grateful for that. Let's join together with our song leaders.
Oh, Hamakom. Oh, Hamakom. I've been wondering where the road will lead me. I've been wondering who I'm supposed to be, and I've been wondering, just looking for the answers. I've been wondering, just trying to find my way and make it home. Hamakom, home, Hamakom. So teach me how to love another. So wrap me in the shelter of your arms. So let me find my own connections. So help me to unify our souls, 'cause now I'm home. Hamakom, home, Hamakom. יש לי במקום הזה, יש לי במקום הזה, יש לי במקום הזה, יש לי במקום הזה, במקום הזה, יש לי במקום הזה, יש לי במקום הזה, יש לי במקום הזה, המקום,
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat
Shabbat
Shalom.